This episode of Test Drive is made possible by RateMyEV.com.
The car in front of me is what you get when you combine practicality and ridiculous EV performance. This is the 2025 Chevrolet Blazer EV SS, and I have had the chance to use it as my daily driver for the past week. And while I've loved every single aspect, there's been one constant reoccurring thought for me, because whenever I see an AMG badge on a Mercedes or an M badge on a BMW, I think, okay, this is going to be something special. And while I do think that overall the Blazer EV does hold up to its SS badge, I always wondered, what if Chevrolet leaned into its badging just a little bit more? Because it is practical and it is fast, but I feel like it's missing a couple of things to truly bring home that ultimate sporty vibe. I'm James, you're watching Test Drive. Let's get this thing on the road. Let me tell you what I mean. So taking a look at the performance aspect for the Blazer EV SS, it features a 102 kilowatt hour battery pack capable of 486 kilometers on a full charge. Although during my week of testing, I saw into the 500s even in some negative weather. So really good news that we have some decent performance here without losing too much range. Speaking of performance, this thing is capable in its wide open watts mode of 615 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. That is a pretty good number if you're looking at, kind of its competitors in the market. I do think it has the speed and handling, and it's got Brembo brakes as well. So it does have things to, keep itself in check or in line to be able to compete with those big dog performance EVs. Now, in terms of DC fast charging, this thing is capable of accepting a 190 kilowatt fast charge, but I only was able to find, I think, 180 to 150 in my area, and honestly, that worked just fine. So overall, the Blazer EV SS can really hang in there with the big dogs of the EV, both in performance and in range, and the charging is also right in line with everybody else. And I think the Blazer EV is also pretty competitively priced here, so it's really hard to find things to complain about in the performance area. I was very happy with it. All right, so first things first, if you're ever driving in a Blazer EV SS and you hear this noise, that is the wide open watts noise, the wow mode. So if you hear that noise and you're sitting in the passenger seat or literally anywhere in the vicinity of the vehicle, hold on to your freaking hat, because your face is gonna get melted off. So let's give it the beams. Here we go. Oh my God. That is just ridiculously fast. I mean, oh yeah, face melter. My face hurts from that. Let me tone that down a little bit. Oh my God, that is ridiculously fast. I mean, yeah, there's very few times where EVs are like really surprise me now, but these high-powered ones, oh my goodness, they do still put my stomach in my butt. I'm just death gripping the steering wheel for dear life. And so that is, part of the super sport badge, the SS badge, that really does line up with itself. I mean, it's really fast in a straight line. In terms of like handling and stuff, although I feel like it's hard to make an EV handle badly, this one is kind of in that area where since it's got that low center of gravity, I turn in, it's responsive, it's very nice. I don't feel like it's as enjoyable as a gas car on a mountain, track or whatever. But I do think that it is a really good experience just here on these back roads. Like literally no issue at all. Like I can just rip around in this thing, no problem. It's a really good time. The part where I feel like we are missing a little bit, or missing out a little bit when it comes to, the performance side or the driving side with the Blazer EV SS, is that they didn't copy Hyundai. They didn't make something where you can turn like an engaging driving experience on. It really is just fast in a straight line, and it handles, pretty decently. But that's kind of it. It doesn't really, you don't feel anything. You don't really hear that much. There is an EV noise that kind of comes on, but it doesn't make me feel like I've got like a V8 or anything super crazy. So I don't know. I just feel like if you're gonna do a performance EV at this point, I think Hyundai Ioniq 5N is the gold standard for me. And that's my opinion, because some people absolutely hate the simulated shifts, but to me it adds to the fact that this is a sporty EV. Without it, it's not like it feels bad, it just feels missing. Now, visibility is very good. I do have that digital rear view mirror, which is really, really good. If my back seat is full of heads, I'm not looking through them to see in the rear view mirror. No problem there at all. I also do have some nice side view mirrors as well. No complaints there either. Windshield is great. Blind spot is also really good, even with my rear facing car seat back there. This also does have Super Cruise, so on previously mapped out roads and highways, this vehicle can really just drive itself. It kind of lends itself to the idea where, yeah, it's super fast, really fun to drive, but it's also extremely practical because it has the things like Super Cruise. It has so much space. It is pretty comfortable to drive. I just enjoy driving this thing like crazy. All right, and another mandatory rip. Oh my God, that one was better. Whoa, that one felt like almost launch control. Unbelievably fast. It never gets old. I mean, it's so much fun to do that. And like, I'm probably gapping a lot of people. You know, I feel like in the range where it's comparable to like the ZDX or the Ioniq 5N or, you know, any other high performing EV, I think this one's probably the most affordable and like the best price. You know, it has a lot of the same specs as the other guys, other than the Ioniq 5N, where it has the engaging driving stuff, but still, like, it's pretty well priced, and it's also not compromising range. Like I said in the beginning, I've seen like right around that 500 kilometer mark, even in the cold weather. So pretty decent that, you know, Chevy has found a way to give us ultimate performance without sacrificing that much range. I think it's actually a pretty good value here. But so overall, the driving is really, really decent. There's just missing that enthusiast part, if you will, and that's just me. Some of you will just enjoy the straight line speed mixed with the amount of space in here and love it. And if that's the case, no problem. You are absolutely right. It is really, really good. But for me, I just wish there was a little bit more, you know, a little bit more shifting or something, just something else. But let's move right along and talk quickly about the interior, because there are a few things missing, but there are quite a bit of things that I think GM got really, really right here. So starting with the steering wheel, I love the blacked out Chevy logo. Physical buttons for absolutely all of the controls here on the steering wheel. So your Super Cruise and everything like that is all going to be controlled through the steering wheel. Very nice. I like the red stitching. I love the SS badge on the wheel there. It kind of shows you you're driving something special, because you know what? We are. I also love these circular vents here as well. Kind of reminds me of the Camaro. Of course, they no longer make that. Very, very disappointing. Never got to test one doing car reviews. So if you own a cool one, more of the recent one, let me know. But yeah, really like the inspiration there. I like the memory seat settings as well. Of course, if you have a family, say if me and my wife were to share this car, those memory seat settings would come in big handy. Now, digital gauge cluster, very good. Android Automotive built in. Not too much customization, but you do have a couple of themes that you can cycle through while you're on the road, and you know, whatever, you know, situation you find yourself in, you'll be able to, you know, bring that up. Very, very useful. Digital infotainment display, very, very big. Not a lot of buttons in here, pretty minimalistic, honestly. HVAC control is kind of controlled mostly through the infotainment display. You do have some quick access buttons for the, you know, the fine controls of the temperature. It is a dual zone automatic climate control, so really no complaint there. Heated and ventilated seats for my tester here, really good news. But yeah, everything is controlled in this screen. The one good thing I'll say about that is that it's so fast, and it's actually integrated extremely well. Like, this is a very good integration. I find it hard to complain about it. My biggest complaint is the one that's always there. No Apple CarPlay in 2025 and on, or just in general. I don't think that's right. I think we should have the option to choose, but since we don't, they have to make it very good, and I hate to say it, but it is very, very good. So you have built-in Google apps like, you know, Google Maps, YouTube Music, Waze, Amazon, Spotify, and I'm a Spotify user. If you're an Apple Music user, well, you're unfortunately SOL, but still, I have all these things. I have the ability to change through my drive modes, normal, sport, snow and ice, my mode, and a Z mode. Z mode is really cool because it's kind of more like a fine tuner one. You also have competitive mode, which will kind of, you know, turn off the traction control sort of, or just optimize it for speed and performance versus stability. So yeah, you have kind of like a very interesting little, you have two kind of custom drive modes, if you will, and I think that's really good too. You also can turn on and off your one pedal drive. This is, of course, an EV. Even though it's a performance EV, it still does have that one pedal drive system, which I use all the time. We also do have a flappy paddle that's more like a button than a pedal this time, but if you squeeze it, it will give you max regen and kind of slow the vehicle down a lot faster. Kind of cool. I don't find myself using the clicky button version as much as I use the actual paddle one on the other version of the Blazer that we have out. But honestly, this infotainment display, we could do an entire video on just the features in it. You're really gonna have to sit down and spend some time with it. But let me know what you think. Do you think it's worth it if your infotainment display is really, really good, yet it controls absolutely everything about the vehicle? But moving on, I do have 2 USB-C ports, a lot of storage in here, a lot of storage in the center console as well, cup holders, a wireless charging pad that's in a very convenient location, passenger seat, very, very nice. I love the red in here. We do also have that embroidered SS badge on the headrest, which is very nice. And speaking of seats, passenger or driver, that kind of brings me to my next issue with it, is the fact that it doesn't hold me. Like, there's no bolstering here at all. It just feels like the same seats from the SS, just red. I wish they did some type of sport bucket seat or some type of maybe less comfortable seat in here, or at least given us the option to have it. Just something special, just something to make me really feel like, okay, I am now sitting inside of a performance EV. Because you could have easily put this red interior on the RS and I would have, not even known that it was supposed to be for the SS. So I did wish there was little fine-tuning things here and there that they could do to make me really understand that I am in a really, really special vehicle for Chevrolet. Maybe that's in the works. I don't know. I just hope one day to see that. Now, in terms of rear space, there is a ton of it, and it doesn't compromise the trunk space whatsoever. So really good news. You got space for your things, and you got space for your people in here. And I think that, again, just adds the practicality of this performance EV. I can fit all my family in here, and it's lightning fast. So I think that that is just great news. Great news. I have no problem fitting my daughter and my wife back there this week, fitting groceries back there, fitting myself back there to film some B-roll. It's got heated seats on behind the driver and behind the passenger, so really, really good. It's got USB-C ports and it's got those nice vents back there. So they really covered all their bases. Plenty of headroom, plenty of leg room, and you've got some climate back there as well. You can't control the climate, but you do have vents, and that's something we don't always see in compact or just general EVs like this. So really, really good news to have that. No complaints for the rear. So overall, my opinion on the interior is it should be a little bit more sporty, but because it's not necessarily a downside for the SS. It's just kind of me wanting maybe a little bit more of a sporty experience. But spatial-wise and practicality-wise, Chevy have once again nailed it with the Blazer.
Hey James, just want to interrupt you real quick to talk about today's sponsor, RateMyEV.com. If you're in the market for a new or used electric vehicle, then RateMyEV.com is the place to go to get all the information you need from owners about your next electric vehicle purchase, like this 2025 Chevrolet Blazer EV SS. If you are an owner, you can share your thoughts and opinions as well as your experiences with your vehicle. From basic information, like 1 out of 5 when it comes to the fit and finish, drive, price, things like that, or you can get really detailed and leave a very thorough review so that others can learn from either your mistakes or benefit from the greatness that you've purchased. So big thanks again to RateMyEV.com for sponsoring our electric vehicle coverage here on Test Drive. For more information, check out their website. But now back to James and the rest of his review.
So quickly, I want to talk about the exterior for our Chevy Blazer EV SS. First of all, let's start with the color. Love the color, love the mix of the rims. I love this blacked out roof as well. It makes this vehicle have a very, very cool and sporty looking shape. I like the daytime running LEDs that connect the bow tie to the light bar. It all looks really good at nighttime, looks really good in the daytime. Very, very nice design choice here. I love the SS badge in the front. It does sort of give me a little bit more of an aggressive vibe in the SS version. I've got a front-facing camera. I've, of course, got 360-degree parking cameras, and I also have parking sensors, so no worries whatsoever here. If you move on to the side, we have some massive rims and some pretty big tires, which I really like. And we also have some pretty big brakes as well, because obviously with 615 horsepower, you're gonna need to stop relatively quickly. So you can definitely see that we have some brakes here with the SS logo on that. You know, I love that. So, you know, really good job there. Got the charging port that is kind of that sliding door. So far, had a little bit of ice. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's some snow around me. No problem so far with the icing and the snow. It's been popping out, no issue, and closing, no issue with the charge port. Staying with the side here, I do like this little lip on the bottom, and it kind of has like this little air channel near the back wheel. That looks really cool. I like it. Moving on to the back, we do have a camera for our digital rearview mirror, as well as our standard backup camera. We do have a bit of a diffuser, and you'll notice the taillights are clear instead of, you know, like the standard red that you get on the RS platform. So really good. I think it looks good. Not such a huge change in the rear. I guess if you don't really know what you're looking at, or you don't see a SS versus an RS side by side, you might not pick up on the change, but I like me a good diffuser, even on an EV. Now, in terms of trunk space, there is a ton of it, a surprising amount of it, and it does not affect rear passenger room at all. So there's plenty of trunk space. You can put all your groceries. I can put my daughter's stroller, her car seat, whatever I need to put back there in the trunk or in the back seat, I can fit it all in one shot. And that is very important for somebody who has a family. So good remarks there. But overall, design-wise, I like the RS version. I actually like any version of the Blazer EV. I think they've done a really good job at designing the platform in general, and the SS does kind of give it a little bit more sporty bits to make it that much more attractive. So to wrap everything up with the Chevrolet Blazer EV, does it live up to its badge? Honestly, I have to say yeah, because just the performance alone does make it feel super sporty. I think that, you know, it does have enough on the outside, little exterior tweaks to really, you know, show me that, yeah, okay, it is something different, and it does definitely set itself apart from the RS, which is also another sporty version of the Blazer that you can get. And I understand why so many people are driving around in any version of the Blazer. They are so well done. I think this is probably one of the top EVs on the market, just platform wise. And obviously the SS takes that thing to a whole other level. It's just, you know, you get the practicality, you get the family use, you get all the nice stuff, you get the comfort, you know, everything's just right here. And then on top of it, you add that it'll absolutely break your neck with the speed, and it'll surprise you. Even when I'm not in wow mode, you know, even just the sport mode, this thing could rip, and it'll smoke absolutely most people off the line. I mean, unless you get something supercharged next to you, I'm probably long gone before they even realize what's happened. And so if you're somebody who wants to get into the EV market and you're waiting for something that's affordable yet powerful yet has some space, the Blazer EV, you gotta look no further. You found the solution here, and I think it's great. I hope it stays on the market, but I do hope that Chevy kind of maybe adds things as an option, add like the different shifting stuff as an option, add like some sport bucket seat as an option, and make, you know, maybe a different trim of the SS or a very special version of it. And then if you do that, Chevrolet, please let me drive it, because those suggestions are for free, but it comes with the string of please let me drive it. So yeah, I think overall the Blazer is a great platform. It is one of my favorite EVs to drive. You know, it's close with the Cadillac Lyriq for me. It really depends what you want, extreme luxury or, you know, just kind of really practicality with a bit more affordability. That's really the difference between the two when it comes to my opinion anyways. So I've really enjoyed spending a week with the Blazer EV. I've hoped you really enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you seriously got something out of it. If you like this, make sure to leave a like, hype it. There's a new feature on YouTube where you can hype stuff now. So if you see that button, please press it. It does a lot for the channel. Make sure you subscribe. If I've missed anything, please do let me know in the comments. Or if you have any additional questions, if anything that I didn't cover, please also leave that into the comments. I will try my best to get back to each and every one of you. That being said, I'll see you in the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.